I'm Larry Woodward. Welcome to this week's Scent Blockers Most Wanted.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. ScentBlocker. Nothing gets you closer. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. Browning. The best there is. Cuddyback. Designed in the USA with quarter-second trigger speed. And Tree Spider. The new world of tree stand safety.
In the summer of 2012, what came to be known as the Little Bear Fire decimated over 40,000 acres of the White Mountain Wilderness of south central New Mexico. The wildfire left hundreds of scorched homes in its wake, but a year later, life is bursting among the blackened trees, and the elk are reaping this rich load of new growth. And there among the charred trunks is where we catch up with Larry and the Guru for the first week of bow season.
We've seen a video. The racker had in here 3 days ago. That one really big white heavy bull, and he's sounds like a bovine beef cow. We just heard him, so that's our most wanted today. Small bulls, small bulls.
That first morning, right off the bat, there's bulls screaming all around us. And as we're easing up this little canyon, there's several bulls in this opening. And we're in there pretty close, and all of a sudden, there appears the growly bull. We've got the best scenario set up right here. Here's Joseph, has got this great big, wide, heavy horned, but short-tined bull at 50 yards with no idea we're there. And up on the side of the mountain, we hear this other just screamer coming over the rise. So Joseph's got to make a decision. Does he shoot this great big heavy bull he's got right here at 50 yards, a slam dunk, and he's coming closer, or do we go after that bigger bull?
There's always something new on our Facebook page. Give us a like at facebook.com/ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by Matthews Solo Cam, catch us if you can, and Rage, leading the evolution in lethal technology.
Well, it looks like Joseph has got himself in a perfect situation here. It's the first morning of our hunt here in New Mexico bow season, and he's got a bull within 50 yards. Now the trouble is, the elk guru in his trophy room at home has lots of big bulls like this one. So when he saw that this other bull on the side of the mountain was much bigger yet, he took a chance that few people would take.
Coming down the hill right there.
This bull is moving on the opposite side of the canyon that we are in. So we had to get down our side and back up the other side quickly and quietly to try and cut him off.
They're going up the canyon. Sounds like that one big bull's come across.
By the time we got to the floor of the valley, it was almost midday. So we set up, Joe called one time, and the big bull responded immediately.
I can see him up there.
Now I was off a little bit to the west of these guys, finishing the calling to try and draw this bull past Joe and Josh. This bull was coming on a string, answering everything. Don't know what happened, can't explain it, but just 60 yards out, he finally stopped and looked around and just walked off. After that bull walked off, it got pretty quiet in that canyon. After all, it was midday. What a morning, though. We just thought we'd leave them alone. We'd get back in there in the early afternoon, let them wake up and start bugling on their own and get after them again. We came back in that evening and with Riker Graham, Joe's teenage son, in tow. That afternoon, and I mean early afternoon, Joe called a bull right in, close enough to kill. Now, unfortunately, he's small. Now, unfortunately, the big bull that we were after never showed himself. With all that action from that morning and the information that we gathered from listening to him in the evening, we had a plan for the next morning.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by the Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. And S4 Gear, meeting the demands of nature and those who tame it.
How many of you elk hunters have experienced this, the standoff? This would be a perfect time for Lauren to let you all in on some of the strategies we use to call elk.
When they get a bull responding to calls, they get into position. Joseph will set up about 25 to 100 yards behind the shooter and change his angle depending on the wind direction. Bull elk will usually approach a cow or a rival bull from downwind, and their superior hearing gets them locked on the source of that call. This allows the hunter to be virtually invisible and set up between the caller and the bull.
Now, as you can see, we weren't having any trouble finding and hearing bulls. Our problem was finding one that Joseph Graham would put his tag on.
Well, it's been a pretty eventful morning so far. That's the second bull we've had in close enough to shoot, but that bull there was a 7x7.
Definitely been plenty of bulls in here. Just gotta find the right one.
Well, our 8x9 that I seen the other day is more than likely up in here somewhere right now. Right now, he's at the top of the most wanted list. I wish I hadn't even showed you that bull. We'd be done. You'd have shot one of the mothers this morning. And it's warm here. It's in the 50s this morning. And we're all wearing ScentBlocker. And I'm wearing a 1.5 performance shirt and pants. It looks like I got on pajama bottoms or ballerina pants or French bicycler pants. But you know what? I don't care. It's very lightweight. Antimicrobial properties in it, which wicks your moisture away and really helps inhibit your odor. I think we've proven that today. We've had bulls all around us. That cow right here circled us around us completely. She still doesn't know. She's coming back right now. ScentBlocker. You want to get close? Wear ScentBlocker.
ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by IQ, center the dot for the perfect shot. Block, history's toughest target. And Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by Winchester Rifles and Shotguns. Trust your hunt to a Winchester. Mission Archery. Ford and your quality Ford dealers. The Redemption Muzzleloader from LHR Sporting Arms, made for a lifetime, not for a season. And Gilbreth's Taxidermy, the official taxidermist of ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
The Most Wanted crew travels around the world to bring you the best of big game hunting. The help and coordination from landowners, outfitters, and guides make it all possible.
Well, after 2 phenomenal days of calling elk, we had 2 dismal days of torrential rains that we spent at the house. We had 1 more day to hunt, and the weather forecast was a little bit of a break in the morning, but the rain was coming back with a vengeance by mid-morning. Now, the bad thing was this is the last day of the season on the tag that Joseph has in his pocket. We had to make a move. We tried to make a best of that early morning dry period. You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make stuff happen. So here's the scenario. We're on the side of this steep mountain that had burnt off the year before. All the topsoil virtually is washed away and you're just walking on little crumbly rocks. I look off down the mountain and I see this big bull raking this tree, and he's raking the dirt and doing a rut pit kind of a thing, and I get Joseph's attention. I'm like, there's a big 6x6 right down there. Now, somebody's going to say, why would you have this guy go down there and try and shoot an elk without the cameraman going with him? Well, it's been 5 years since my buddy Joseph has drew an elk tag, and he's a resident of New Mexico, 5 years. It's the last day of his hunt. The weather's bad and going to get worse. The bull is down a very, very steep slope where it's going to be hard for two guys to slip up on him for him to get close enough to shoot him with a bow. So we made that decision for us to hang back with the camera and him to try and sneak down that mountain and try and put a rage in that bull. Now, we don't have enough time in a 30-minute show to show you how long it took him to sneak down to this bull. Well, so far, everything is going to plan. Joe has slipped down almost 200 yards to get within bow range of this bull. He's got him ranged. It's time to make a shot. The bad thing is, the bull didn't read the script where he's supposed to stay where we can see him with the camera. Well, things didn't work out perfectly for getting the kill on video, but the important thing is Joe got that bull.
It's the last day of the first bow season here, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Hopefully, he killed that bull, so here he comes now. You get him?
Yeah.
Last I seen you was at full draw, and then you took off, and I'm like,
Wow, there was just no possible way all of us were going to sneak in on that bull. He was going away, and I shot him, and it went in, you know, behind the hind quarter and went right into the boiling room. And he run down there and laid down, so I just sat down and watched him and watched him and watched him, and finally he just stood up and took about 7 or 8 steps and fell over.
we typically usually hunt the second season. The first one's good, but the second one's always better. But this has been a good first season now.
Yeah, you know, usually we don't hunt the high country as much, just because of the steep and roughness of it, but the bulls are just screaming up here right now. I mean, you can see the weather. Yeah. We had some hot days there for a while, and today was the day.
We've been hunting together for 15 years, If you want to go on a quality elk hunt, see a lot of elk, get opportunities to shoot one, you got to close the deal. You need to give Joseph Graham a call.